Hi, this is Jennifer Packham. Welcome to Defining Moments Vlogs number 20. It's easier to cope with someone in a wheelchair than someone who hurls abuse at every turn. If you've ever had a defining moment that shattered you, leaving you to piece together meaning from chaos, redefining everything, these vlogs are for you. I share raw journal excerpts from my life-altering defining moments and the wisdom I've gained from them. I hope they bring you renewed possibilities, clarity and faith in your toughest moments. In June 1994, I wrote, I never wanted to dwell on all the bad times. I so desperately wanted things to work. It was easy to love my children and find joy in them and in dancing. I don't know what I would have done without them. They have always saved me from my own depression, anxiety, and the overarching hopelessness I felt most of the time. In August of 1994, my husband's injury was considered an invisible injury. In a book I was reading, it said, physical disabilities, like needing a wheelchair, are often easier for families, caregivers, and society to understand and cope with than the hidden or invisible behavioral/emotional effects of a brain injury, such as rages, verbal outbursts, or constant abuse. They are very common in traumatic brain injury literature and caregiver experiences. People with TBI can look physically normal or recovered on the outside, yet struggle with emotional dysregulation, impulsivity, lack of filter, irritability, or aggression due to the frontal lobe damage or any damage in a brain injury. This leads to less sympathy, more frustration, strained relationships, and isolation for survivors and families, as others may misinterpret their behavior as personality or willful rather than injury-related. Sometimes I felt like it's all great and dandy to know about all these things. Great, he has an excuse for being mean, untrusting, rude, selfish, etc., etc. So what? Do I have to put up with it and try to deal with it the rest of my life? Will it really get better? Will he ever really be able to just let things go? Oh, all those things that I wrote down from that book. Virtually all of them. He is almost daily accusing me of doing or feeling or saying. It's weird because he cannot see himself doing them. Sometimes when he's yelling at me, like something about how you have a warped perception, or you always have to be right, or you are not realistic, or you're always trying to change me, or your mom is evil and will not ever change. I wrote, oh, how I try. I try to be supportive. I do not complain that all the inheritance money is in his name. I have absolutely no access to any money without asking. He has his own account. He puts into ours, or mine, whatever he feels I need when I ask. I know we don't have a lot of money, but why 2 accounts? Why does he still have the post office box? I had to write all of my expenses down in a little book he gave me, just so he could keep track. But I really didn't have any expenses because I didn't have any money to spend. To continue, in August of 1994, my mom was still a huge rift between us. She always was, and she continued to be, not on her part, but on my husband's. He felt that everything she did was wrong, and that she should change, and she should apologize, and she should do lots and lots of things, but it really wasn't her. He made me question my mom, I wrote. Deep down, I know that I trusted and understood her intentions, but he made me question it at times. She did nothing wrong. She loved him the best she could, as did I, and she tried to understand and help both of us the only way she knew how. But somehow it was easy for him to hate her, to misunderstand her, and to transfer his anger that perhaps subconsciously he felt at himself towards her, and of course, towards me. In September 1994, I wrote how I had a date with my mom when my husband was out of town. I regret to say it was one of the last dates we ever had, just the 2 of us, but it was wonderful to be able to talk and just be together. In November 1994, I wrote how I danced the lead in a performance for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Dancing ballet was a saving grace. It gave me a moment to forget about life and stress and put all my energy into something beautiful and uplifting. I truly don't know where I would have been or where I would be without ballet. At that time, we bought a home to fix up and ended up selling the home we were in and moving to this fixed up home in December. It was beautiful, but we moved into a neighborhood who knew nothing about our circumstances and the difficulties we were facing. That was so very hard. In December of 1994, I wrote, "My mom went into the hospital the day after Christmas to have an angiogram on her heart. She couldn't lift her arms over her head without feeling like she was going to pass out, so she went into the hospital to check it out. They found 6 blockages in her heart, and she was quickly scheduled to have a 6-way bypass surgery or open heart surgery the next day. The nurse told us she was very surprised she hadn't had a heart attack yet. In her 10 years of working there, she had never seen anyone her age come in with that many blockages without having a heart attack." I wrote in my journal, "I woke up this morning at 4:30 a.m. My mom was going in at 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep. Then I had awful sickness and nauseousness with cold sweats so badly I thought I might pass out. I may have eaten something bad, but I'm pretty sure it was just nerves about my mom. I've had stomach cramps all day on and off." Through these times, I learned how not to take my husband's words like a gift and to let him keep them. I was learning ways to cope. I knew his injury wasn't him, and I still hoped and was willing to take any chance that he could recover and get better, and that things would continue to improve as the doctors thought that they might. I wish I had known how little time I had left with my mom. Enjoy every moment of your life. You never know when that day will come when everything will change, when nothing will be as it was. The day after Christmas in 1994 was that day for me. Love those you love. Don't take them for granted. You never know when that day comes when you will never get the chance again to show them just how much you care. I wish I had followed my heart. I wish I had not allowed my husband to keep me away from my mom, away from her, who only tried to nurture and protect me, my mom who loved me unconditionally. He tried to keep me from that love that I so desperately needed, from that love that would soon be taken away. I allowed him to keep me away from her. Looking back, all these decades later, I realized that I really should have stood up for myself more than I did. I wish I had known what I want, and I wish I had stood up for it and never backed down from what I knew was right, no matter what the consequences were. I realize that now, and I have gained that strength at a great cost. Standing up for myself is part of me now. Knowing what I want is a gift. But wishing will not change the past. I can only move into the future with a new conviction of understanding what I want, asking for it, and expecting miracles. Elder Richard G. Scott said, "Just when all seems to be going right, challenges often come in multiple doses applied simultaneously. When those trials are not the consequences of your disobedience, they are evidence that the Lord feels you are prepared to grow more. He therefore gives you experiences that stimulate growth, understanding, and compassion, which polish you for your everlasting benefit. To get you from where you are to where He wants you requires a lot of stretching, and that generally entails discomfort and pain." Even though it had been many years of discomfort and pain, and would be many more until I could say, "It is finished," I know I was growing, learning compassion, and stretching in every way I needed it so that I can be here today, hopefully helping someone who also feels the way I did, because I didn't have someone to understand me, to help me at that time in my life, or to help me know what to do. My mom was my closest friend, my confidant, my supporter. I knew she loved me unconditionally and would do anything for me. To see her in that hospital bed, knowing her condition and that she was going to go through a precarious surgery with many months of recovery, was terrifying for me. As I stood by her bed and held her hand that night before her surgery, I told her I was afraid. She said she was too. I wish I had known then what I know now. It's always easy to look back with a 20/20 perspective, to see things you couldn't see then. But as I look back, I wish I had done so many things differently. One of those things I wish I had done differently was to spend more time with her. Please spend more time with those you love. You never know when you get that call in the middle of the night or suddenly during the day, and you might never see them again. Love them now while you can. Until next time, keep on keeping on with God.